Hello, y'all. Welcome on back to another episode of Creators Spicy Tea. Okay, y'all, this one has been a long time coming, and I need you to really settle on in, get that blankie, get cozy, because we are pulling the curtain all the way back on the fetish market community today. You've heard me talk about Reddit before, right? You've heard me mention some bits about moderation here and there, the scams, how things run behind the scenes, all that. But this, y'all, this is the first time we are sitting down and we are actually laying it all out, and I mean all of it. So I'm very excited to get to do this. We are not alone in the bedroom today. No, there's literally another person sitting here with me, here. So let me introduce you to someone who has been doing the invisible labor that a lot of people don't even notice. Cesar, or as you are going to hear me call him every time, Cesar. Very long time moderator of Fetish Buyers Community and Fetish Want Ads, and long time partner to Creators Spicy Tea, and my best friend. And y'all, when I say this man, this crazy man has held the Reddit fetish market together with duct tape, spreadsheets, and zero sleep, I mean it. This conversation is raw, it's honest, and it might change how you see both buyers and sellers, no matter which one you currently are. We are talking about what really goes on into keeping a market safe and a safe space for tens and hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking about burnout, boundaries, how unpaid digital labor can literally wear on your bones when everyone is leaning on you and no one is really seeing the cost of that. We also get into how his and my perspectives have completely shifted from being just creators or just buyers into the people trying to keep the damn lights on, you know? You're just going to want to watch this. And you know what? Creator or buyer, you're going to probably hear some of yourself in this. This video is not just trying to open up the behind the scenes. It's part storytelling, part education, I suppose. And honestly, it was kind of a therapy session for the both of us. So whether you're a creator trying to understand buyers better, or you're a buyer who wants to support the spaces you use, or you are someone considering stepping into a moderation space, buckle the fuck up. We are getting spicy, we are getting real, and we are finally talking about what I haven't seen talked about anywhere else. We are going to be switching over to an audio-only recording now to protect everyone's privacy. So let's pop over to a graphic and get into it. Alrighty, y'all, we are sitting here with Cesar. Can we please get a big, spicy welcome to Cesar? Hi, honey. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. This is Cesar, Cesar, whatever works for you. It's all fine. I'm so used to it all at this point. It's no big deal at all.
I'm literally trash. Okay, so when I first met him, it was all online, right? And I know I've kind of told this story briefly, but it was all online. And I only saw his name in text. And it's Cesar. C-E-S-A-R. Cesar. It's not Cesar. And I can't believe I just introed you into the podcast with the wrong fucking name.
Honestly, we couldn't do it any other way. This is how it has to be. It has to be this way.
I think it really fucking does. I think it really does at this point. But what I figured is now I can tell a little bit about my story, and more importantly, Cesar can tell us about his story. So how about we start with yours, because yours is way more interesting. Where the hell do you moderate?
I've been a moderator in Fetish Buyers Community and Fetish Want Ads for nearly 3 years at this point. I would actually previously moderated in FBC prior to that as well on my main account, and then had to step away because of some situations that were going on within the subreddits that I just didn't want to be a part of at the time. And then I came back, I guess it would have been December 22, January 23, to help out because there was another new buyer that was getting added to the subreddit there, and they were just kind of struggling a little bit, and I just wanted to kind of step in and just help out and just lay their load a little bit. And then things really blew up, and then out of nowhere, it was just me.
Yeah.
And it was just me for a very long time.
Too long.
Partially my own doing.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball there in terms of opening it up and trying to get more help in there, but it was definitely too long. It was probably close to a year for Fetish One ads, and probably much closer to like 2.5 years for FBC.
Yeah.
Luckily we are rectifying that, and we are getting more people in there, and we're making sure that it's not one person.
Yeah.
Not just doing all the work, but also like kind of making all the decisions. Like, we want more voices. We want more ideas. It should be community driven.
Yeah.
And in order for it to be community driven, we need more people who are having to say in the choices that we're making. So
yeah, it can't be dictatorship for a community to continue running. Yeah, I get that for sure. You said FBC and Fetish Want ads. So I joined Fetish Want. Oh, I should have thought this through. When did I join Fetish Want ads? I didn't think about my timeline.
So the first kind of group of people that I had reached out to were some of the other like associated and partnered communities that we have with FBC. So it was Fetish Playhouse and Fetish Haven. So we had reached out to see if we could get some extra help with from some of them. Fetish Haven in particular had a lot of mods that were willing to kind of jump over, help out, and make sure that I wasn't completely drowning.
Yeah.
And everything that was going on over there. So that would have happened probably not quite a year, but probably like 8 to 9 months after all that happened. So like fall of 23.
Yeah.
And then I think you would have joined in somewhere in the spring of 24. So it's probably about a year and a half for you.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because you were saying you're starting to grow the team, and it was like such a core group for Fetish Want ads for the longest time. It was the same group of people for so long, and then we slowly started bringing in more people. And lately, very exciting, y'all, the team has grown quite a bit in the last little bit.
Yeah, we have definitely made it a concentrated effort to continue to try to grow the team, and also like try to get people from other areas. So not everybody's so focused on just being US based, and just to be able to do both, just more input, different ideas, different things that people, how they want to see the community run and all that. But also just coverage of time. We've got people now where we used to have a pretty long period of time where not everything got checked and, made sure everything was good, on a timely basis. And now we have a lot better coverage throughout.
Yeah.
24 hours a day. Like, we all still have lives. We all still have other things going on, and we can't have somebody checking it
24/7.
24/7, but we are getting a lot better and getting more people who are familiar with how we operate, all the rules that we have and all that, and getting them up to speed. So it's been nice. Like, I still need to break my own habits of just constantly being out there and checking and not letting others do some of the things. So that's something I need to work on myself and be like, nope, we have more people. We have people who want to learn, who are actively on there trying to do things. So I need to let them do that, because you learn by doing.
Yeah, and on top, but I get where you're at, because when you've done something by yourself for so long, it's so hard to then delegate out the work. And it's not like, oh no, I need to make these decisions. No, it's like, I'm just so used to like taking it, grabbing it, getting it done, grabbing it, getting it done. You forget that you don't have to do that anymore.
There's also this weird sensation of like, I don't want everybody else to feel like they have to do it because I don't want to do it, or some weird thing like that, where I'm like, I don't want them to be overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, I should just go in there and do that real quick. I'm just so used to doing this, and then I know I can do it this way, and it's going to be done. And
yeah.
Like I said, you got to learn how to give up a little bit of that control and just let people learn. So
absolutely. And it's not even just like control. It's just like, I know I can get it done and be done.
Yeah.
It could get done so fast. But it will never get done so fast without you if you don't sit the fuck down.
Yeah, that's the other. I mean, and yeah, been a few years at this point, and I don't know how long I want to keep doing this, like, to be completely open and honest about it. And at the same time, I'm like, well, I can't just abandon it and not let it continue to be a thing. So there needs to be more people involved so that way it can just continue to move on and be a part of the community for everybody else who's still using it and needs it, even if I don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah. God, that's terrifying to think of. So we won't think about that too much. I can't imagine it without you there though, because when I started on the Reddit market was right after, or relatively close to after, you had taken over, gotten your feet wet, and gotten yourself solidified. And so the thought of those communities existing without dad running them is like, oh my God, we're not going to have a parent here? What do we do?
For supervision,
I know.
the inmates are running the house now.
I know. Here we go, party. I think the number one reason we wanted to sit down and have this conversation wasn't just expressing kind of our experience with backend of the fetish market community, but also talk about like our perspective changes in joining. Because I know, like, I'm sure some of y'all remember kind of my personality and my stance prior to joining, not even just joining Fetish Want Ads, but just getting to know like you in general and getting to be more like consulting, helping here and there, seeing more of the back end of things. Y'all know I was very much buyers are buyers. They are not our besties. Like, it is buyers and sellers. And I don't even know why I necessarily had that perspective.
I think it's something that was very pervasive throughout the community in general. So like you would need to have that hard separation.
Yeah.
And there does need to be very strict boundaries. There needs to be an understanding.
Very many.
Absolutely. Like, there needs to be that first established. But beyond that, some of the best people I've met are, for me, creators that I've worked with and got introduced to through all this. And we absolutely have become friends over time. These are people that I talk to daily about everything outside of fetish stuff.
Everything. And I mean, so I guess I did not even preface this. I should do so within the actual intro. But he's sitting at my house right now, y'all. When he says, like, and it's so funny because, like, in my mind when I had started, that would never happen. But seeing the back end, you get to see both sides of every situation unfiltered and without a third person point of view perspective, which is what happens for any goddamn situation. Let's say another creator comes to you and says, hey, this buyer's being a real dick. She's probably right. But here's the thing, at the same time, she's selling it from her perspective. Maybe there was like a miscommunication. And in my brain, that never clicked until I started seeing all of that happening over and over and over again. And like, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen my complete shift from this is a creator focused only to now we have Fetish Spicy Tea, which is buyers and creators. Now we're making resources for buyers. And it's just that would never have happened had I not joined the back end and saw that back end. How did it change your perspective? Because you were a buyer for how long before?
I was probably a buyer for 6 or 7 months when I first started, before I got the initial invite to join the mod team at FEC. I went through the whole bunch of learning curves, both through my buying experience and then getting involved in starting to see even just small pieces of the back end when I first joined. But I will admit, even that first stage, I was doing very, very, very back end stuff. I was doing, stuff on data sheets and stuff like that. Just keeping track of things. It was all data stuff. And it was nothing
administrative.
Nothing really involved directly with dealing with processing anything. So even the first time I didn't get a whole lot of that. The way I operate, even as a buyer, I've always had probably a little bit more of an understanding from the seller's perspective, just because that's my personality. That's just who I am. Like, I'm very open and honest. So I've always kind of had that perspective personally. I've probably even more learned other buyer perspective more from getting deeper into and seeing how other buyers deal with things and what they're going through and, how they deal with things. And I've grown to understand buyers more as well because, like I said, I operate in my own very personal way. I'm very active in the community and I talk a lot, but I tend to do everything in DMs, and most of it is sellers asking questions, and buyers have never really had a very vocal, open voice in general. Having to start dealing with a lot more, things that are going on, issues, getting to process reviews and seeing how the interactions work and all that, and what buyers are going through, opened my eyes a lot. It really, okay, so this is how other people like to do it. This is how they're communicating. Getting to see that back end of how people are interacting and all that opened my eyes a lot.
It does. It is literally eye-opening because, I mean, as a creator, we all have our own processes and routines and methods of handling everything, and our own personalities, our own customer service voices. We have all that shit down. And so I know for myself, I had it in my head that, yeah, the majority of creators, or let's be fucking real, in my little Alice in Wonderland brain, I was like, oh yeah, all creators are responding with respect and with professionalism, customer service. Nope, nope, not at all. And then at the same time, in my head, I was like, I guarantee every scam report or shit like that coming in is going to be inappropriate, falsified, blown up by the buyer, made this big. No, no. And it's not like shit on creator time or anything like that, because we see it from the other side with buyers too. It's very eye-opening to see a community that I love and I see as like a part of me, like a part of my family and my community in general. It's very eye-opening to see the worst sides of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and getting to see that side is always rough, but it's always tough because you're just like you want to have hope that what you experience personally, especially me personally, is like that's what everybody's going through. Everybody's having these wonderful times. Everybody's meeting all these great people and having these great experiences, and it's just not true. It's not necessarily that people are bad. Everybody has a rough day. Everybody has a bad, people don't mesh.
Yeah.
The way somebody communicates, I've been doing this for, somebody could say I've ordered 10 times and the way I talk worked perfectly. Then you meet somebody and it doesn't work with them. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. And, we're all humans. We're all different, and we all communicate in different ways, and we all react differently to different things.
And we all have bad days at work too.
Absolutely.
Hey, we all have bad days going to the store. I mean, yeah.
So you start seeing the bad side. You start seeing those rough situations and the things that people are going through. And like the flat out scammers, that sucks. That's also where we look internally and go, all right, what information can we get out there to help these people try to, take their time and make sure they're looking at things correctly and know that they're not, to try to help them prevent it from happening again.
Yeah. That's how a lot of resources have been born.
Yeah.
We see a problem arise. We're like, how do we make sure this doesn't happen to someone else? Yeah.
And where it gets really rough, though, is where you've got some situations where that it's a creator or a buyer who they're legit. Something happens and there's problems, and then there's issues with communications and stuff like that, and then those start going sideways. This is where it gets rough because you're like, I know that they're both good people. Yeah. I know that they're legit. They're not shitting. They're not trying to do anything maliciously. It just doesn't work sometimes, and situations can get out of hand, and people take things too far. Yeah. People don't know how to communicate properly. It happens, but you still have to do things for the community.
Yeah.
People get upset about things that are done, and it's like, we still need to do things for the betterment of the community. We're not doing anything to hurt anybody. We're not going after anybody. We're not trying to do anything to ruin, your life or anything like that.
We're not here to piss in your Cheerios.
But there are rules, and we've established rules for a reason, and they need to be followed.
Yeah.
And this is why we've had to make adjustments to our processes and how we do things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the gray area. It's the gray area. And it's good that we have this, like, this network, this team, because the team behind FBC is, or Fetish Buyers Community, is buyers only, which is stupid because I had told him 2 years ago I would step in and help.
I said no.
He said no and wouldn't let me, but I do understand why. But Fetish want ads, I mean, we have two of the mods right here, a buyer and a creator. It is a mixed bag over there. And it's so crucial that we have this inclusive, diverse team, because those gray areas are where we'll all have like conversations like, no, that's not okay. And someone will be like, well, but it's in the rules, and it's just a back and forth. And you need that team to find the black and white lines within the gray. And I'm very, very, very lucky to get to see the teams do that. It's a beautiful process to watch.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I always tried to do, even from the beginning, especially even when I was doing those by myself, is that I still relied on the partnerships and the affiliations that FBC had with selling communities that are all run exclusively by sellers, and work with them and get their feedback on situations that I was dealing with, or rule changes that we were looking at doing, or making some adjustments to our processes, and go, what do you guys think about this? And I'm trying to ask as many people as possible, because I'm like, I don't have all the answers myself. I don't know everything, and I
don't want to.
Exactly. I don't want to be the all-knowing thing of everything. So I've always relied heavily on seller mods to be like, look at this, take a look at this situation, and let me know, what do you feel about it? And make sure that I'm seeing things the same way that they're seeing things, and we're all on this running on the same page.
We keep each other impartial.
Can there be disagreements? Of course. And there's different arguments sometimes that need to be made. Well, you think about this and this, because there's going to be things that I don't think about because I don't do the work as a creator. And there's going to be things that creators don't think about as a buyer, because I'm like, well, you got to look at it from the buyer perspective, and this is how we're seeing it. And you're like, oh yeah, I didn't. And it happens both ways all the time. We're like, I never would have thought of that. That would have completely gone straight over my head. But having the community, the mod community, having those connections allowed me to be able to lean on people and to get all that input and to get all that feedback from both sides, so that we were making decisions that were like, nope, this is what is right for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people do lean on you heavily. Hi, I'm a lot of people. I'm the guilty member.
You're not alone.
No, I know. And I take on a lot. I take on a lot in general. But you take on the same mental and emotional load without the benefit of I also get paid from this industry at all. So I think you're batshit crazy.
A little bit.
But I've also watched you go from strong running to burnt the fuck out. There were periods where we have both been at that point where we're like, we're walking. I'm fucking done. I'm tired. We're done. You have so many people leaning on you, but in the moments you're just burnt to shit and you can't handle anymore. How are you handling it? Like, how are you just getting through and deciding to come back the next day?
I do my best to try to disconnect regularly from things. Like, if something's happening, if something big's blowing up and it needs to be taken care of, I will jump in and take care of it. I try to, as much as possible, treat modding as the same kind of thing as my 9 to 5. It's Monday through Friday. I'm going to be there. I'm going to knock things out. I'm going to try to take care of things as quickly as possible. And on the weekends is for me to unwind and unload, forget about things. Because if I didn't, it would be so much harder. It'd be so much worse.
Yeah. You didn't used to always do that.
No, I didn't always used to do that. I would sometimes struggle with still disconnecting, because once you are dealing with one major issue, then you're like, well, I'm here. Let's just go ahead and knock everything else out. And then you just start slipping down, that hill. We're just like, yep, we're just going to knock everything out. And then you're like, I just spent 6 hours modding on a Saturday.
On a day off. Yep.
Beyond that, honestly, it's a lot of leaning on people. It's a lot of just having conversations with people, not necessarily even bad conversations, just being like, I just need to talk to somebody.
I need to be a human
about anything and everything else, and just, not think about things about within the community. It probably hasn't been overly healthy most of the time. I've just forcing myself to keep going through it and just keep doing it. And I think at this point, I finally got to the point where I'm like, it's probably closer to being realistic that I want to step away at some point. And I don't want everything that's been built up and what this means to the community to just disappear because I decided I needed to hang it up. That's not fair to everybody else.
Yeah.
And why did I put in 2 or 3 years of running it by myself to just let it all disappear?
Yeah.
For nothing. It did definitely take changing things for me in real life to realize I need to make some other changes to my online life so that when I'm ready to move on and, wanting to do that I can, but still lead this, in a good place, because I don't imagine myself ever leading completely 100%. Like, I will still be involved with the community.
Yeah.
Probably a bit more so along the buying side. But yeah, so I still want to be a part of the community. We'll definitely get to a point where I'm like, I just don't have, I won't have the spoons to continue to do the mod work on it.
Yeah.
I will probably still be roped into sticking around, or, people will be coming to me for questions and help in different situations. How would you do this? And what's going on? And I will still help out with it.
Yeah, stay on a consulting basis.
Just the day-to-day, every single day stuff, we'll probably need to take a step back at some point. I know this is part of what we were talking about or wanted to get into with this, is that, your perspective about the community and the weird feelings about the community definitely change if you do model work. Because when I was just buying, I was having a whole lot more fun.
Yep.
Than when I'm now also volunteering my time to moderate.
Yeah.
It's not that I hate it. I wouldn't do it if I hated it. Mm-hmm. There are times that are hard, and there are times that fucking suck. And it's not always fun. It literally is a job.
Mm-hmm. And you're not getting
compensated in any way. We're just doing this because we care about the community, and we wanted to stick around. We wanted to keep growing, and we wanted to get better. Just being a buyer would be so much easier.
Yeah.
And it's the easiest part. Like, that is the easiest.
That is the
situation. Especially if you know what you're doing and you take the time to do it correctly. The buying side for me is definitely the most fun part of it. Obviously though, I think the mod side is more rewarding in terms of the fact that I'm helping create a space that's safe and useful for so many other people. Like,
hundreds of thousands.
If you just talked about it, I think FBC just hit 48K members, and Fetish One Ads just hit 80K, which is crazy to think about. Crazy to think about that there's that many people who are part of those communities.
Insanity.
So, yeah, and I don't want me burning out to be the reason why that many other people just lose communities, or the communities stick around, but they're no longer running and operational in a way where they're effective anymore.
I get that. So I wasn't very public about it, but there was a moment in time last month where I was ready to walk away from Creator Spicy Tea. I was ready to put it down. I was going to hand it over to Cesar, and I was going to be done with it. Say, burn it down if you want, or don't. I don't care. But there is that thing that sits in you that's like, this is not mine. This is not me. This is not me just getting bored of a hobby. This is something that people love and care about and rely on and use and utilize and need, and it would be selfish. So I'm honestly glad you're putting those in place, but you can also slow down.
Yeah, that it's having that ownership of it, or like you you said, it's not that you necessarily doing it for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, especially with you with Creator Space, because it's something you from the ground up. Like I FBC and FWA were around before I came into it. And I originally jumped on to help out a little bit, left, and then came back just to keep it going. I've made some changes on my own. I've adjusted how things are run and did some different things in terms of what I thought was made more sense, in a general sense. For people who don't know, like, FEC used to also run and operate probably close to like 20 different selling subreddits at the same time. And I am a firm believer that selling subs should be run by sellers.
Yeah.
So that was a change that happened that kind of led to a lot of the big shakeups and when I ended up taking over. But keeping that in place and establishing partnerships and affiliations with other communities that we would deem as being safe and in a way that they're actually looking out for the community as well.
It aligns with FBC's
Yeah.
morals and values that y'all
exactly. We reached out to a couple of communities to be like, are you interested? This is why we're reaching out to you. This is the things that you have in place, establishing some of that. And then just, doing some of the other changes with, how reports are done, how reviews are being submitted, adjusting some of that. Like there's a lot of the rules in terms of, what kind of proof is required and in what situations proof is required. So we made some changes to how we process reviews as well. So now anytime a buyer's writing a review for the first time, they're going to have to provide certain information. And anytime a seller is being reviewed for the first time, regardless of how many times the buyer's reviewed somebody, they're going to be required to provide certain information in order for that review to get processed as well. Because we also there's going to be people trying to take advantage of different things,
You're going to try.
It's going to happen. There's going to be people who are trying to do that. And we understand that. It's going to be on both sides of the aisle there where that's happening. So we're trying to put whatever we can into place to try to catch as much of that. Are we going to catch everything? No, absolutely not.
There's no chance.
But we're doing everything we can.
Yeah.
And that also goes into when we set up the forums and all that and adjusting how those were done is trying to get certain information to be included within the reviews as well, because we're like, well, sometimes we're just, I bought this, it was good.
Yeah, it doesn't help anyone involved.
So we wanted to make sure that enough information or the right information is also getting posted. It's perfect right now. No, it's still not optimal, but we're still trying to figure out ways to make sure that we're getting as much information as we can out of the reviews to make sure that they are effective and useful for buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
So buyer will know I can read this review and see what they enjoyed about it, so I can make a decision of, is this somebody I want to reach out to? And it gives sellers the opportunity to look at, these are the things that buyers are actually interested in, what they in a custom work, and they can start incorporating that into their work as well.
Yeah, there's so much benefit that creators in general can take from just going and reviewing other people's reviews, not just your own. I mean, don't get me wrong, you should absolutely be reading from them and taking notes, but other people's as well. Learning and reading from other reviews can really help you hone your own craft. So when it comes to processing reviews, can you tell us a tiny bit about the process of that? Let's say someone puts in a negative review for what is someone who's normally known as a great seller. Is it just we have the review, throw that up, call it good?
No, anything when that comes through, we are going to be asking for screenshot proof in terms of what was communicating, in terms of what you requested, confirmation between the two, and then agreement on the price, and then the further communication, after the fact. Because we're not going to ask for, for a custom order or something like that. We're not going to ask for, we're not going to ask them to see the video. We're not going to ask to see the, that's sharing content that's not consent. We're not going to do that. That's not consenting at all. We're going to have to take we do take their word on that, but everything else, the communication up front, communication after the fact that the payment was made, and there was an agreement on an order, we're going to require all that. Yeah. And it's going to be the similar thing that we're going to require for a review as well. We need to see this information. If you guys talking about an order, agreeing to it, we need to see proof of payment as well. Mm-hmm. And for scams as well. But with the lower rated reviews and scams, we're going to ask for more. We want to see the entire interactions. We don't want you to clip out things. Yeah. We don't want things to be taken out of context or, omitting certain things. We need to see
everything.
It doesn't matter if it's going to be 80 screenshots.
Yeah.
We want to see it all.
If it seems pedantic, it's actually important.
So those are the things that we're going to be asking for when we're going to be processing any kind of negative review or a scam. And then we're also going to look over the review itself, mm-hmm. and just make sure that they're not
slanderous, harassing.
Yeah. There's no point in trying to be exactly be negative about it in terms of like, calling them names, making accusations but making assumptions. You just want it to be honest and respectful. And as long as you're covering those 2 points and what they're bringing up, then we're fine with posting the review.
So probably the last thing we can dive into, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope you can. Ducky is asleep right now, wagging her tail, making little thuds. Anyway, short on time. Back to that. The last thing I want to talk about, you just said processing all those reviews, right? All that negative stuff that comes in. And for me personally, seeing the negative, the scam reports, negative reviews, the hey, this happened, is this something even worth reporting, things like that. Seeing those really negative interactions, either between a seller and a buyer, or a buyer and a seller, or whatever, for me, it sits in me, and it's very hard to not just go, fuck it, I'm gonna get so jaded right now, I'm about to be a fucking rock, try me. How do you not? Because how?
To a certain degree, you kind of have to be a rock. You kind of have to, not let your own perspectives or your own ideas or your own thoughts in the person who's being reported or whatever interfere with what actually happened. You have to separate yourself, and you have to be like, if I look at this completely objectively,
yeah, there's so much compartmentalization.
This happened. This is fair. They did this. It needs to go up. In terms of like how it can be really rough because you see the way people talk to each other on both sides, and you're just like, man, this is where you start looking into like, man, the community's just it's in a rough place.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, seeing the negativity behind the scenes, it's really hard to remember the joy in front of it,
And luckily, it's almost overwhelmingly positive that goes on. There's just way more positive reviews and good communication happening. It's just the bad hits. The bad hits a lot harder.
Yeah, the bad is loud.
and it's also like seeing things that we're trying to strive for more openness and more honesty, and allowing buyers to have more of a voice, because it seems like so little of them like to express themselves in any way.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing it one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's not always positive. But open to the community, we want more open and honest reviews. And I'll fully admit I'm guilty of this as well, where I only post about my positive experiences. Yeah, that's not fair. Yeah. Now, I'm much better, but not perfect, at least communicating my feelings about a custom order directly to the seller. I have messed that up a few times, and going back and thinking about it, I'm like, I dropped the ball on that one.
That might be
because it's not doing the seller or the creator any favors if I'm not telling them where things went wrong in my end, or in my opinion, and why I haven't decided to reach back out to them and work with them again. So they might think that, oh, it was fine. It worked out right. All right. And in the reality, in my mind, I'm like, I'm never going to work with them again.
Yeah.
And I don't think I gave them a sufficient reason as to why.
Yeah. It's that open, honest communication.
Which is imperative in one-on-one conversations and just in the community in general. And we want to encourage more buyers to be posting reviews, but across the spectrum. Like, shouldn't just be 5-star reviews and scam reports. We need 4-star reviews. We need 3-star reviews. We need 2-star reviews. And we're working on some resources in terms of how to identify and how to judge and what should fall into each category.
Yeah,
it's going to be different.
3-star, what is a 4-star?
What would qualify something as a 3-star? What would qualify something as a 4-star? What would qualify something as a 2-star? Obviously, subjective. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to have different opinions on what qualifies there, or what they care about that makes something good or bad.
Yeah, and it's very situational.
Yes, but we still want to provide some kind of framework or give people some ideas of like, this is how we view things. And this is how we're asking other buyers. We try to get multiple people's inputs on it. We want this to be, a community thing. And like we're not all going to agree 100% on everything should be this. I think we recently had a post that went in that direction somewhere in the comment section, which has been great. Those ask a buyer a question posts have been great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the buyer doing that.
Yeah.
And he had an idea of what he would consider to be, bare minimum for him. And he's like, and wanting to try to kind of get some of that in place. And it's like, well, we need to play around with what the definition is on some of those things. I can understand the minimum side of it, but you're saying in order to get a 5-star, you need to be this. Me personally, I'm like, that's not what I care about when I'm doing a custom. If that's what you care about, that then you want to have that as your standard, that is perfectly fine. And as long as you're also communicating that when you're doing orders and all that, and they're like, if this is what you want, this is your minimum what you want to do, then you just got to communicate that as well, so the creators are able to deliver in the way that in what you want. Because the vast majority of creators want to make sure that you're taken care of and you're getting exactly what you want, because this is their business and they want to do it. They want to do it because they like doing it, and they want to do it because they want to have people continue to come back.
Yeah, and it's our name put on our art. We want our art to be a shiny diamond in the rough, So we want to do it perfect, but we have to have that communication to do it perfect.
Yeah.
We have to know what the rubric is before we start the test.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Trying to get some of that stuff set in place so we can have more of a baseline so everybody can be a little bit more on the same page in terms of what we're trying to shoot for, and trying to open it up so people are more open and willing to express these concerns, because we see that too, where you can post in a review that's not necessarily perfect. Mm-hmm. You had some issues with it, and then they're kind of getting beat up for posting it. Mm-hmm. And it's not just from one side, it's from both sides. And it's like, this is exactly why a lot of buyers don't even want to post anything, because they don't want to deal with the negative feedback that comes from it. And it's like,
and it's not even feedback, it's blowback. It's just straight blowback at that point. It's never feedback at that point.
So trying to navigate those situations and those issues, where this is where I'm having a team be the ones who are looking at a lot of this stuff and talking about it and agreeing on it is really important. Why it was important for me to bring on more people, so it wasn't just me telling everybody this is how you're doing it. Yep. This is how you should do it. This is how it's all dictated. That's not fair to the community. Mm-hmm. So getting more voices in, listening to other people, and getting a little bit more of a collective. Are we going to make everybody happy?
No.
Absolutely not.
We would be doing it wrong. If everyone were happy, we would be doing
absolutely. It wrong. If everybody is happy, then nothing's really happening. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people who are upset with how we're doing things and how we're making judgments and what we're establishing. It's going to happen.
Has to.
But in the end, I would like to hope that the vast majority of the people who are using it are happy with what we've been doing and where we want to continue to take it and where we want it to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I fucking hope so too. You put some work into that bitch, both of them. All right, for the last little bit, and then we'll close out here. We have both an audience of listeners who are creators and buyers now. So if you could pop off and say anything you wanted to the community, what would you say? Be
open, be honest, and be respectful. But we need everybody to communicate in all aspects. Like when you're directly dealing with a creator and you're putting in an order, try to provide all the details and try to get all that out there and be open and honest about everything that's going on. But I feel like in the end, the vast majority of the issues that we have is lack of communication. Yep. Whether it's from the start with the right expectations not being set, or if it's, not providing updates when things go sideways and life happens and you need to make some adjustments and changes, or, letting somebody know when something didn't quite turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. But you also need to be willing to listen to them when they come back to you and tell you. You can't just say, just do whatever you want with it, and then
be mad.
Comes back at the end and you're like, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
You didn't provide any information on what you really wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about communication. It's all about learning how to be open and honest. I know a lot of times it can be hard to be open because there's that fear there of being judged. There's that fear there of being shunned. There's a fear there of, you know, somebody's just going to look at you differently. I'm like, what the heck what is that? The vast majority of the people who I've worked with and communicated with that are a part of the community are incredibly open, and even if it's something that they're not comfortable doing, they will just respectfully say something like that. And it's the same thing with sellers going back to the buyers. So when you take an order, the buyer's already spent the money. Don't abandon them and just keep fishing for more orders. We understand that you need to work.
Yeah.
Your business is all about bringing in more people, but once you receive money, they have already invested in you. They're trusting you to take care of an order for them. They deserve a little bit of respect and care and follow up in terms of like where you're at, what's going on, and making sure that you're showing them that you care. It'll go a whole heck of a long way.
Yeah.
When you show them that respect when they decided to work with you.
Yeah, something I had to learn to designate was I have made my money and I have earned my money. So I might get a custom order on Tuesday and I've made my money that day, but I have not yet earned it. I still have to do the work. Just because I have it doesn't mean the job is handled. And that continues through customer service as well. It's not just delivery of content. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's the community. It all comes back to the communication side of it. And I know it's hard. We all have lives. We all are dealing with so many different things and then got all this other things going on in our online life. And it's hard to keep track of everything and to follow up, take the time, take a few minutes to just, oh yeah, crap, let me go back through this and see what I got going on. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
And follow up. And then, like I said, it goes both ways. It does happen the other way too. So yeah, it's just, that's the thing, the one thing that we could all learn from and get better at, including me, including you, I'm sure. We all do it.
All of us.
It's just that communication is just taking that time, and that'll go such a long way.
Yep. Absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. Okay, everybody, we are gonna close this section here, and then I will pop back on video and I will close out with an outro. But can we please get a huge thank you to Cesar or Cesar? Yay! Thank you, honey.
No problem at all. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.